The date is April 4th, 1993. The neon lights of Las Vegas pierce the desert night as over 16,000 fans pack into an outdoor arena adjacent to Caesar's Palace for WrestleMania 9. Amidst the Roman-themed spectacle, a sinister figure emerges. A clown, but not the kind that brings joy to children's birthday parties. His green hair stands wild against white face paint, his perpetual smile masking malevolent intentions. This is Doink the Clown, and he's about to face Crush in a match that will cement his place in wrestling history. As Doink makes his way to the ring, his methodical movements and unnerving presence create an atmosphere of unease that cuts through the festive WrestleMania environment. The character he's created is something entirely new in professional wrestling, a psychological villain who uses the traditionally comforting image of a clown to instill fear and discomfort. The Las Vegas crowd, already on edge from his entrance, has no idea they're about to witness one of wrestling's most memorable moments of deception. As the match against Crush unfolds, another identical clown emerges from beneath the ring, setting up a finish that would be talked about for years to come. The original Doink, portrayed by Matt Bourne, had transformed what could have been a cartoonish gimmick into something genuinely unsettling. A twisted villain who used pranks not for laughs, but for torment. This wasn't just any wrestler in clown makeup. This was the culmination of a 15-year journey that began in the smoke-filled arenas of the Pacific Northwest Territories. Born Matthew Wade Osborne on July 27, 1957, wrestling wasn't just a career choice, it was his birthright. His father, Tony Bourne, was a legendary figure in Pacific Northwest wrestling, known for his tough-as-nails approach. Young Matt grew up watching his father battle in the squared circle, absorbing the nuances of the business from the earliest age. His father's influence would prove invaluable, teaching him that success in professional wrestling wasn't just about physical ability. On December 6, 1978, Matt Bourne made his professional debut, following in his father's footsteps. The territories were still strong in the late 70s, and the Pacific Northwest became his training ground. Portland Wrestling, run by Don Owen, was known for its hard-hitting style and no-nonsense approach to the business. It was here that Bourne would build his foundation, capturing the heavyweight championship and becoming a four-time tag team champion. But perhaps more tellingly, he would occasionally serve as a referee, a role that would help him understand ring strategy from every angle. During his time in Portland, Bourne developed a reputation as a reliable worker who could adapt to any style. The territory's unique atmosphere, with its single referee, meant that wrestlers often had to officiate matches when not performing. This experience gave Bourne a comprehensive understanding of match structure and timing that would serve him well throughout his career. The early 1980s saw Bourne expanding his territory, forming a formidable partnership with Buzz Sawyer in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. On June 6, 1980, they captured their first tag team championship together, marking Bourne's first major title victory. His career continued to evolve as he moved to Mid-South Wrestling, joining forces with the Rat Pack, a heel stable that would help him refine his villainous persona. The Rat Pack's feuds with the Junkyard Dog and other Mid-South favorites helped establish Bourne as a legitimate main event heel. During this period, Bourne also worked dates for Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling in Calgary, where the intense training and demanding style helped further polish his ring work. The technical expertise he gained in the Hart Dungeon would prove invaluable in his later career, allowing him to work effectively with a wide range of opponents. His first WWF run began on March 2, 1985, with a time-limit draw against Rick McGraw at the Boston Garden. This was quickly followed by another draw with future champion Bret Hart. Though primarily used as a jobber, Bourne would secure his place in wrestling history by participating in the very first WrestleMania, falling to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This brief run would end in April 1986, but it gave him valuable exposure to the big league atmosphere of the Federation and the beginning of the company's national expansion. The following years saw Bourne honing his craft in various promotions. In World-Class Championship Wrestling, he reunited with Buzz Sawyer, capturing the World Tag Team Championships. This run included a notable feud with the Ultimate Warrior, then known as the Dingo Warrior, which helped establish the future WWF champion as a babyface. In 1991, Bourne reinvented himself in WCW as Big Josh, an outdoorsman character that demonstrated his versatility as a performer. His debut as a fan running in from the crowd with an axe handle to save babyfaces from heel attacks created an instant connection with the audience. During this period, he captured the United States Tag Team Championship with Ron Simmons and the World Six-Man Tag Team Championship alongside Dustin Rhodes and Tom Zenk. but it was his return to the Federation in late 1992 that would define his legacy. For here, he would soon undergo a transformation into Doink the Clown that would change wrestling history. The character debut on the January 31st, 1993 edition of Wrestling Challenge saw him defeat Bob East, but it was his mind games and sadistic pranks that truly set him apart. The genius of Doink's character lay in its subversion of expectations. In an era of larger-than-life characters, Doink stood out by being genuinely disturbing. His pranks weren't meant to amuse, but to terrorize, and his constant smile made his actions all the more unsettling. The character wasn't just about wrestling matches, it was mental warfare that pushed the boundaries of what a wrestling character could be. His feud with Crush became the stuff of legend. After attacking him with a prosthetic arm on Superstars of Wrestling, their rivalry culminated in that WrestleMania 9 match. The bout itself showcased the brilliant complexity of the Doink character, with the shocking appearance of a second Doink portrayed by Steve Keirn emerging from under the ring to assist in the victory. This wasn't just cartoon wrestling, it was psychological horror in spandex. The spring of 1993 saw Doink enter the King of the Ring tournament, engaging in a series of memorable matches with Mr. Perfect. After 2 time-limit draws, Perfect finally prevailed in their third encounter. These matches demonstrated Bourne's technical prowess, proving that behind the face paint was a seriously talented wrestler. At the King of the Ring pay-per-view, Doink's mind games continued as he helped Shawn Michaels defeat Crush by once again utilizing the double Doink strategy. Throughout the summer of 1993, Bourne's Doink character continued to evolve. He engaged in successful house show programs with Marty Jannetty and the 1-2-3 Kid, while occasionally falling to bigger names like Bret Hart and Tatanka. Then at SummerSlam, he became entangled in the ongoing feud between Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler, with Lawler hiring Doink to face Hart while feigning injury. The match ended in disqualification when Lawler interfered, but the aftermath would prove more significant. The fall of 1993 marked a turning point for the character. On the September 13th episode of Raw, Doink turned face by dumping a bucket of water on Bobby Heenan. The character began to shift toward a more traditional clown role, culminating in the December introduction of Dink, a miniature version of Doink who would serve as his sidekick. This change in direction was controversial among fans who had grown to appreciate the twisted complexity of the heel character. However, just as the character was transitioning, behind the scenes, Bourne's personal demons were catching up with him. His final WWF television appearance came on the December 27, 1993 episode of Raw. According to Bourne himself, the end came when Bam Bam Bigelow reported him for smoking marijuana in his hotel hallway, leading to his termination. The timing was particularly unfortunate, as plans were reportedly in place for a significant program with Bigelow himself. The post-Federation years saw Bourne briefly appear in ECW, still portraying Doink, but in a darker incarnation. After losing to World Heavyweight Champion Shane Douglas, who cut a scathing promo about Vince McMahon's misuse of Bourne's talents, he transformed into Bourne again, wearing the clown suit without the wig and minimal face paint. This brief run ended due to personal issues, but it showed glimpses of what might have been had he been able to evolve the character further. In his later years, Bourne continued to wrestle on the independent circuit, occasionally revisiting the Doink character. In 2010, he even reinvented Doink to resemble Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight, dubbing this incarnation Reborn Again. He remained active in wrestling until just days before his death on June 28, 2013, in Plano, Texas, still performing at a high level despite his years in the business. The official cause of death was determined to be an accidental overdose of morphine and hydrocodone, with heart disease as a contributing factor. He was just 55 years old. In the years following his death, his legacy would become part of a larger conversation about wrestler welfare, with a wrongful death lawsuit filed against WWE in 2015, though it was ultimately dismissed by U.S. District Judge Vanessa Lynn Bryant, who ruled that they failed to show that his death was linked to chronic traumatic encephalopathy. In the end, Bourne showed us that the most compelling characters are often the ones that make us uncomfortable, the ones that force us to look beyond the face paint and see the complex humanity beneath. While the man behind the makeup left us too soon, the impact of his work continues to influence professional wrestling to this day. May he rest in peace.